She said, "My past is none of your business. Don't judge me, but I need to know every girl you've slept with because men are dogs." I found out she slept with my entire fraternity. I replied, "Understood." Then I invited all the guys she slept with to our engagement party to give speeches. The look of horror on her face when the microphones turned on. So this needs context because it sounds insane. I'm 29 and I met Vanessa at a charity gala 2 years ago. She works in event planning, I'm in commercial real estate development. She was gorgeous, funny, had her life together. We clicked immediately. Started dating seriously within a month. Now here's the thing about Vanessa. She's very selective about what information flows which direction. My past, fair game for interrogation. Her past, classified information, need to know basis only, and I didn't need to know. 3 months into dating, she asked me how many women I'd been with. I said I don't really keep count, but maybe 8 or 9. She asked for names. I laughed. She didn't. She said if we're going to be serious, she needs to know who I've been with. Red flags everywhere, but I was stupid. Told her it's not important. She spent 2 weeks bringing it up until I finally caved and gave her a vague list. Then she cross-referenced them on social media, found 3 of them, asked me detailed questions about each relationship, why we broke up, who ended it, did I still think about them. It was exhausting, but I figured she was just insecure. She'd get over it. 6 months in, I asked about her past, how many relationships she'd had. She looked at me like I'd asked for her social security number. Said her past was none of my business, that women get judged differently than men, that she didn't need to explain herself, that I should respect her privacy. I said okay. Seemed like a double standard, but whatever. I wasn't going to push it. Different people have different boundaries, right? That's what I told myself anyway. Year 1 of our relationship, she brought up marriage, started hinting about rings, talking about venues. I wasn't opposed. Things were good. She was smart, driven, successful. The past thing was weird, but everyone has quirks. Then I ran into my buddy Marcus at a bar. Marcus and I went to state school together. Same fraternity. Lost touch after graduation, but stayed connected on social media. He saw me and came over, asked how I was doing, told him I was great. In a serious relationship actually, probably getting engaged soon. He asked her name. I said Vanessa Morrison. He choked on his beer. Actually choked. Started coughing. I asked if he was okay. He said yeah, fine, just went down wrong. Then he got this look. Asked me to describe her. I pulled up a photo on my phone. Marcus stared at the photo for a solid 10 seconds. Then he said, "Dude, we need to talk." Took me outside. Asked if I knew about Vanessa's past. I said she doesn't really talk about it. He said, "Yeah, I bet she doesn't." Then he told me. Vanessa went to the same school as us. Different graduating class, but overlapped for 2 years. And apparently she worked her way through our entire fraternity house. Not dated. Worked through. Marcus said it was legendary. Guys kept a running tally on the basement wall. She hit 14 guys in 1 semester. I asked when this happened. Marcus said my senior year. I'd already graduated and moved for my first job when she did her tour. By the time I'd hear about it, the legend had already happened. Marcus said it was fall semester, right after I left. I stood there processing. Asked if he was sure. Same Vanessa Morrison. He pulled up his own photos from college. There she was at a frat party. Another photo. Another party. She was definitely there. Definitely involved. He said everyone called her the house tour. Drove home in a daze. Vanessa was at my place cooking dinner. She asked how my day was. I said fine. Kept replaying what Marcus told me. 14 guys. Same frat house. Including Marcus himself. He was number 8 on the list apparently. I wasn't mad about her past. People have pasts, whatever. I was mad about the hypocrisy. She'd interrogated me for weeks about 8 people over 10 years. Made me feel guilty for having a history. Meanwhile, she'd worked through 14 guys in 4 months and acted like her past was sacred private information. Next day I called my other fraternity brothers, the ones I was still close with. Jake, Ryan, Chris, Tyler. Asked if they knew Vanessa Morrison. Every single one of them got quiet. Then Jake said, "Oh man, you're not dating her, are you?" I said, "Engaged actually. Probably." He said, "Dude." Turns out all 4 of them were on the list too. Jake was number 3. Ryan was number 10. Chris was number 12. Tyler was number 14. The grand finale apparently. After Tyler, the semester ended and she disappeared. No one heard from her again. The other 9 guys from the list had scattered. A few moved overseas. Some fell completely out of touch. These 5 were the ones I could actually get to show up, the ones who still lived within driving distance and who I'd stayed connected with over the years. That night, Vanessa brought up engagement rings again. Said she'd been looking at settings. 3 carats minimum, platinum band. I asked her directly. Asked if she went to state. She said yes. Asked if she knew anyone from Kappa Sigma. She got defensive. Said she knew some people there, but it was years ago and didn't remember specifics. I asked if she dated anyone from the house. She said that was exactly the kind of question she didn't have to answer. Said we'd talked about this. Her past was off limits. I said okay. She smiled and went back to scrolling through ring designs. I spent 2 weeks thinking about it. The more I thought about it, the funnier it got. Not funny, haha. Funny in that cosmic justice kind of way. She'd made my 8 previous partners into this massive character investigation. Meanwhile, she'd literally slept with half my fraternity and acted like I was invading her privacy for asking. I decided something. I was going to propose, but I was going to do it my way, and I was going to invite everyone. Called up all the guys, Marcus, Jake, Ryan, Chris, Tyler, told them my plan. There was silence. Then Marcus started laughing, said that's absolutely diabolical. I'm in. The others agreed. This was too good not to do. We coordinated everything over the next few days. I told them the order. Marcus first since he broke the news to me, then Jake, Ryan, Chris, and Tyler building to the finale. Everyone knew their number on the list. Marcus suggested we each tell one specific story, then build to Tyler revealing the nickname. Keep it classy, but devastating. They were all in. I proposed to Vanessa 3 weeks later. Nice dinner, got down on one knee, the whole thing. I bought a 2-carat ring, white gold instead of platinum. Cost me about $8K. She wanted 3 carats in platinum, but I wasn't dropping $40K on a revenge engagement. She didn't notice the difference. Too excited posting it on social media. She said yes. Her parents were thrilled. My parents were concerned, but supportive. We set a date for 8 months out. Vanessa threw herself into planning. She's an event planner, so this was her moment. She wanted to do an engagement party first. Big event. All our friends and family. Speeches. Toasts. The whole production. I said that sounds great. She asked if I had people I wanted to invite. I said actually yes. Some old fraternity brothers. She said fine, whatever. She wanted to split the costs, but I insisted on covering the engagement party myself. Told her I'd handle it. The venue, food, bar, photographer ran me about $12K. She thought I was being generous. Really, I was buying a front row seat to justice. Worth every penny. Sent out invitations. Marcus, Jake, Ryan, Chris, Tyler, all 5 RSVP'd yes. Vanessa didn't pay attention to the guest list. She was too busy planning centerpieces and color schemes. The engagement party was at a fancy hotel ballroom downtown, 150 people. Vanessa wore a white dress. She'd hired a professional photographer. Open bar. Past appetizers. She'd gone all out. The speeches were scheduled after dinner. Vanessa's maid of honor went first. Talked about how perfect we were together, how happy she was for us. Standard stuff. Then my best man went. Told a funny story about us in college. Everyone laughed. Good vibes. Then I stood up. Said I wanted to do something special. That Vanessa and I had such an interesting connection. That I'd recently discovered we had more mutual friends than I'd realized. That I wanted some of those friends to say a few words about their experiences with Vanessa. I invited Marcus to the microphone first. Vanessa's face went confused. She leaned over and whispered, "Who is that?" I said, "Old fraternity brother." She nodded, smiled, waited. Marcus got to the microphone, introduced himself, said he'd known Vanessa back in college, that she'd made quite an impression on the fraternity, that he wanted to share some memories from their time together. Vanessa's smile started to fade. Marcus talked about a party sophomore year, how Vanessa had been very friendly, very social, how she'd been a fixture at the house that whole semester. He said he remembered their night together fondly. Number 8 on the list. Great times. The room went quiet. Vanessa's face drained of color. Marcus thanked everyone and said congratulations to us both. Handed the microphone back. I said thank you, Marcus. Then I invited Jake up. Vanessa grabbed my arm, whispered, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Just recognizing old friends." She said, "Stop this right now." I said, we're just getting started. Jake took the microphone, said he'd also known Vanessa from state, that he'd been number 3 if anyone was counting. That Vanessa had been very adventurous back then. He shared a detailed but classy story about their encounter. Said he hoped she'd found what she was looking for. Congratulations again. People in the audience were starting to whisper. Vanessa's parents looked confused, my parent horrified. Vanessa stood up, said this isn't funny, tried to grab the microphone. I gently guided her back to her seat. Said we had 3 more speeches. Ryan went next. Number 10. Told a story about a Thursday night in October. Very specific details. Vanessa put her head in her hands. Ryan wrapped up quickly, said it was all in good fun. Congratulations to the happy couple. Chris followed. Number 12. He kept it short. Just confirmed he'd also been involved with Vanessa that semester, that she'd been quite popular, that he wished us both well. The room was dead silent, except for a few nervous coughs. Tyler went last. Number 14. The grand finale. He took the microphone and said he'd had the honor of being her last conquest that semester. That she'd really gone out with a bang. That it was a legendary run. That she'd earned her nickname. That the basement wall memorial still existed if anyone wanted to verify. Someone in the back yelled, "What nickname?" Tyler paused. Looked at me. I nodded. He said the house tour. Because she'd toured every room in the fraternity house. Bathrooms included, apparently. The room exploded in gasps and whispers. Vanessa's aunt actually fainted. Just dropped. 3 people rushed over with water. Her cousin was recording on his phone. Already uploading it somewhere, probably. Vanessa's face had gone from white to red to purple. A whole spectrum of humiliation. Vanessa stood up, tears running down her face, and ran out of the ballroom. Her mother chased after her. Her father stood up and pointed at me, said I was a disgrace. That this was humiliating. I said I agree it's humiliating. That's exactly what it felt like when she spent weeks interrogating me about my past while hiding her own. Her father said this was different. I said how? He didn't have an answer, just stormed out after his wife and daughter. Half the room cleared out within 5 minutes. The other half stayed and the party got very weird. Some people were angry at me. Some people thought it was the greatest thing they'd ever seen. The photographer asked if I still wanted her to take pictures. I said sure, why not? Document the chaos. Marcus bought me a drink. Said that was even better than he'd imagined. The bartender gave me a free shot. Said he'd worked 300 weddings, and this was the best one. Vanessa's younger brother came up to me. Said that was the most insane thing he'd ever witnessed. Asked if I knew the venue still had an open bar for another 2 hours. Said might as well use it. We took shots together. He said his sister had it coming. That she'd been manipulative since they were kids. My mom pulled me aside, asked what I was thinking. I explained the whole situation. How Vanessa had demanded to know everything about my past, how she'd interrogated me about 8 people, how she'd made me feel like I needed to justify every previous relationship, then refused to tell me anything about her own history. My mom was quiet. Then she said your father and I always thought she was controlling. This explains a lot. She asked if the engagement was off. I said I don't know, probably. Vanessa called me 47 times that night. I didn't answer. She showed up at my apartment at 8 a.m. the next morning. Pounded on the door. I let her in. She looked like she hadn't slept. Mascara everywhere. Still wearing the white dress from last night. She screamed at me, said I'd humiliated her in front of everyone, that I'd destroyed her reputation, that everyone would know now. I said everyone knew then. It was apparently legendary. She said that was different. That was college. That people grow up. I agreed. Said people do grow up. That's why I didn't care about her past. That I cared about the double standard. About her spending months judging me while hiding the exact thing she was judging me for. Times 8. She said it's not the same for women. That she'd be labeled. That I'd never understand. I said she was right. I didn't understand how she could demand complete transparency from me while offering none herself. How she could make me account for every person I'd been with while claiming her past was private. She said I was a vindictive asshole, that she thought I loved her. I said I did love her. Past tense. Until I realized she'd been manipulating me the entire time, controlling the narrative, making me feel guilty for having a history while hiding hers. She left, took the ring off on her way out, threw it at me. Said I'd regret this, that no one would want to date me after what I'd done, that she'd tell everyone I was crazy. 2 days later, I started getting calls, first from her friends, said I was abusive, that I'd traumatized her, that public humiliation was emotional abuse. I said lying for 2 years was also a form of manipulation, but sure, they hung up on me. Then mutual friends started taking sides. Some blocked me on social media, said what I did was unforgivable. Others reached out privately, said they'd always known Vanessa was manipulative, that I'd done what needed to be done. The friend group split pretty evenly. Week after the party, I got a call from Tyler. He'd been thinking about it since that night. Said he felt bad about the whole thing, that maybe we'd taken it too far. I asked if he thought what Vanessa did was fair. He said no, but public humiliation is rough. I said so is being interrogated about your past for months while your fiancé hides that she slept with your entire social circle from college. Tyler was quiet. Then he said, okay, yeah, when you put it that way. He said Marcus felt the same way I did. That Vanessa had it coming, that the hypocrisy was insane, that I'd just leveled the playing field. A month later, I ran into Vanessa at a coffee shop. She was with a new guy, younger, looked finance bro adjacent. She saw me and her face went red. Tried to leave quickly. I didn't stop her. Her new guy looked confused, probably had no idea what he was getting into. Got a message from her 2 weeks after that. Long text about how she'd been in therapy, how she'd realized she had control issues, how her behavior in our relationship was unfair, how she was sorry, how she hoped I could forgive her someday. I wrote back, said I appreciated the apology, that I hoped therapy was helping, that I didn't regret what I did, that she needed to understand what it felt like to have your past weaponized against you, that maybe now she'd think twice before demanding transparency she wasn't willing to give. She responded with a single word, fair. That text exchange was 4 months ago. 4 months since she sent that apology. About 6 months since the engagement party itself. I'm still single, not really looking. The story got around. Some women think I'm a hero. Some think I'm a psycho. Dating is weird now. Everyone knows the engagement party story. It's become this local legend. Marcus texted me last week, said he'd heard Vanessa got engaged to the finance bro. 3 months of dating and dude proposed. Marcus said he thought about warning him. Decided against it. Said some lessons you have to learn yourself. I don't think about Vanessa much anymore. Sometimes I wonder if I took it too far. If there was a better way to handle it. Then I remember her face when she was grilling me about my 8th relationship from 7 years ago, how she made me feel like I needed to justify every decision I'd ever made. While sitting on the secret that she'd slept with half my fraternity house. And I think no, the speeches were perfect. Cosmic justice in its purest form. She wanted to control the narrative about both our pasts. She got to hear the truth about hers in front of 150 people, including her parents, and the guy she claimed she loved. My best friend asked me if I regretted proposing to her. I said no, because I didn't propose to her because I loved her. I proposed so I could have that engagement party, so I could invite those 5 guys, so I could hand them each a microphone, and watch her realize that you can't demand honesty while hiding the truth. She called herself a private person, said her past was nobody's business, but she made my past her business, made it the business of every conversation for months. So I made her past everyone's business for one night, in the most public way possible. People tell me I should feel bad, that I was cruel, that 2 wrongs don't make a right. Maybe they're right. But watching Marcus walk up to that microphone and seeing the exact moment Vanessa realized what was happening, that moment of pure horror when it clicked, when she understood she'd been set up, when she knew there were 4 more speeches coming, that was worth it. That was worth every accusation of being vindictive, worth every friend who stopped talking to me, worth the reputation as the guy who ruined his own engagement party, because that moment was justice. Pure, perfect, poetic justice. The house tour became the house reunion, and she had front row seats. Understood.